Well, so as you mentioned, I think with your help and your research that came out of 2016, and then we started really deeply looking at what the Serbian American diaspora was doing politically, and whether it was doing enough or whether it was doing anything at all. I thought, with my own personal connections, given that you as you introduced me as a private security expert, I'm somebody who has worked within the segment of foreign policy, but also counterterrorism and transnational crimes, particularly during President Trump's administration. My work connected strongly to the Balkans. So I had already those developed relationships within President Trump's administration, and the way he was focusing on the Balkans and the way he was focusing on some of the frozen conflict issues that remain since the Yugoslav wars and since 1990s. He wanted to solve those issues via economy. As you remember, even my close relationship with Ambassador Richard Grenell, we kept talking about trying to bring some sort of solidity to the region, but they didn't want to deal in symbolism. They didn't want to deal in these deeply rooted problems that all American politicians and European Union, for that matter, failed to address for so many decades after the 1990s. You know, they kept paying lip service to it, but nobody really had any solid solutions. President Trump, sending Ambassador Grenell as his envoy, came up with a very solid, at least, base to develop something new, which was, again, as you pointed out, developing the economic prospects of that region. So my relationships already that I had made me use the momentum to organize Serbs for Trump and put the American Serb diaspora on the map as a serious voting bloc that can actually impact elections, particularly in those swing states, in the important states. And you do mention Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, even Florida, but for example, even state like Arizona, huge Serbian community there. Certain states that you wouldn't even think of, for example, Alaska, Wyoming, those are all states in Nevada, states that have a deeply rooted Serb communities and history. We have 6 different Belgrades in the United States of America. One famous one is in Montana. And the reason why we have them is because those towns paid homage to the Serbian immigrants who were coming since the 1800s into this country and were developing not only trading routes, but were working in some of these communities as blue collars, but were also investors. They were building the rails. So there is a really important element that I wanted to use to, as I said, take that momentum and put the American Serbs onto the political map, because unfortunately, up until that point, the American Serbs were not politically active.